Hey guys, Josh here from Millennial Trekker, and I'm super pumped today because I am trying something that I have never tried before, and that is making videos. So I'm typically a writer. I love writing blog posts and just trying to paint that picture of some of the sights that I see along the way. And I thought, let's just switch it up. I've never tried making videos before, don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna give it a try. So I grabbed my cell phone and hit the road. And I'm really excited for you guys to see the place that I checked out. The place I went this past weekend was called Rose Island. It's about 30 minutes north of Louisville, Kentucky, and it's technically in southern Indiana in a town called Charlestown. And guys, check this out. So it was basically a theme park in the 1920s that got abandoned in the 1930s and has been sitting empty since. And it sits on this island. So I did a little bit of research. I checked out Google Images, checked out Google Maps, got enough information to know where I was going, and I hit the road. And what you're about to see is the experience that I had that day while I was checking out this Rose Island. So this amusement park was built in the 1920s and super popular, all kinds of really cool attraction. They had pony rides and a Ferris wheel, cafeteria, pool, everything. Once the Depression hit, attendance slowly started to dwindle down as folks couldn't afford it. Then there was a flood in 1937 and just about wiped out the park. It damaged it pretty much beyond repair. They thought that, it's not worth saving. So it just was abandoned. And from then the forest kind of took over. And so I'm super excited to see what it looks like. So once you get to the trailhead for Trail 3, which is the one that takes you to Rose Island, you have a decision to make. You can either go right, and it's a shortcut, about 6/10 of a mile, or you can go left, and it's about 1.5 miles, loops you all the way around to Rose Island. So of course, I ended up taking the longer route here. So far, I'm about 1/4 of a mile in, and relatively flat. Nothing too crazy. The nice thing about now is that it's about 6:30, and so still got plenty of daylight left in the end of July, but the sun's starting to go down a little bit. Really brings down that temperature, so I'm not dying right now from the heat. Oh wow. This definitely is a foundation for something. So I really have no idea what that foundation was too. I'm not even on the island yet. I'm just working my way around the loop to go to the island. Who knows? There's no markings on the map. There's no markings once you actually get to that foundation. So maybe it was something to do with concessions. Not sure, maybe storage or maintenance facility, but pretty cool just to kind of see what is left from decades ago, almost a century ago, really. So I've been running this whole time, pretty much fast-paced walking, slow jogging to get to here. And you're probably going to hear my heavy breathing, but it's just so nice just to stop for a second. So now I'm getting to a point where I'm really starting to get some steps downward down this hill, taking me towards, I'm guessing, water level by the river. So I'm thinking that I'm getting pretty close to this abandoned theme park here. I think I'm getting close I gotta be getting close now because there's water right over here, right alongside me. And I can just feel this loop kind of making its way around. So I think we're getting close. And as you can see, all the way over here, those are the old foundational pieces for that rickety suspension bridge that people would park their car and walk across. I cannot tell you how excited I am to check out this place. And as we are about to go in right now, I want you to picture what this would have been like, you know, almost 100 years ago. Families saving up their money, driving over here, maybe taking the ferry over, and it just would have been quite a time to have an amusement park in the 1920s. And here we are. We made it. This is a 0.9 mile loop. So we can pick our spot. We're gonna check out some info here and get going. I'm telling y'all, this is just so crazy. I mean, look at this. It's just nothingness. And 90 years ago, over 135,000 people would visit this park annually. Every year, 135,000 people. And now it's just forest. To give you some perspective of what this flood would have looked like in 1937, out here is the water line. It drops about 5 feet off this island down into the water. And all the way up here, if you can see this blue mark, that's the flood line from 1937. So it makes sense why this whole island would have been devastated. And imagine how great this would have been. You're working in a factory, super hot, no air conditioning back in the day, and on the weekend, you get to escape and see this. So we're in Indiana, and across the river is Kentucky. I mean, you're just walking in the woods and this pops up. No idea what it is. No idea what the purpose was. But just imagine this being a hustling and bustling place that everyone is crowding around. So behind me right here would have been the entrance if you decided to take that suspension bridge. So you're walking across that rickety bridge, it's going back and forth, up and down, and you can see around the ground here, there are a couple of old foundational pieces of where this little hut used to be, and they would have the fee there. I'm geeking out right now because I think I found the coolest spot in the park right here. Got this old archway behind me, and then behind me, they do a really good job of marking different spots and points of reference along the way. I'm gonna flip this over and you can see where the old dance hall was. It also doubled as a skating rink. And just what a cool entrance this is here. Imagine, you know, back then a lot of people didn't have a lot of things. How grand this would have felt walking underneath these archways. I mean, it's pretty incredible now. So I can't imagine 90 years ago what this would have been like. So you can see here, behind that tree right here, all the way down there, right here, and right here. This was all that dance hall, and then also skating. There's a little bit of remnants back in here. Looks like an old chimney of sorts, but not much left. Just lots of grass and trees. And onward we go. Let's see what else we got. You can see, got a good ways to go here. So I'm pretty far inland at this point. This does a good job of showing how high up the water was at that time. I'm about 6'3" and it's shoulder height. So this must have been crazy during that flood. And as we get closer to the water's edge along the river here, there were about 20 or so cottages that worked their way along the shoreline. And so it must have been super quaint to have that waterfront view and just relax for the weekend. So we are further inland and we made it to the pool. So what's crazy about this pool is that after the park had closed down, for years afterwards, this pool is so structurally sound, it continued to hold water to the point where they eventually had to fill it in for safety purposes. But it's funny, these trees surrounded this pool even back in the heyday, and folks would actually use trees as diving boards to jump in. So kind of fun. So in this extremely overgrown, looks completely uninhabited area, this used to be the grand entrance to Rose Island. And so steamer boats would work their way down the river, and what visitors would be greeted to is this big entrance here. You can see the stone gates, and they would have the Rose Island sign greeting them. So here's a perfect example of the forest just reclaiming its land. This is an old picture of the park, and you can see the walkway of roses, that archway right there, and a sprawling lawn that looked out onto the Ohio River. Here it is now. There's that same archway, and there is the sprawling yard, and there's the Ohio River. So in addition to a dance hall and a hotel and cottages and a pool and everything else, this place also had a zoo. And so this is all that's left of it behind me. I'll get a better shot of it. They at least had a black bear here in a cage, sadly, but not much left. And so you naturally want to look up the hill, but if you look right here, you can see old remnants of this metal cage. And this is where they believed the bear was housed for their zoo. And guys, just like that, I checked off the island, and I'm hopping back on the Portersville Bridge here. And now I'm heading back to the car, completing the loop. This is a paved section, so if you're differently abled, if you're injured, if you don't want to have that buildup of anticipation getting there, and you just want the straightest shot possible, this is the way for you to get to the island, is this paved 0.6 mile stretch. Remember when I said that thing about if you want the easy way out, take the paved road? It is so hard to see, but I'm about halfway up this gauntlet of a hill. All the way down there, it's hard to see again, but this little area right here, it's a switchback, and you gotta go all the way. I'm halfway, took a water break, and I gotta keep going, y'all. Doesn't look as steep in this video, but it's steep. I'm at 10.5 miles for the day. Completely out of breath. Eyes are bigger than the mouth, but I conquered the hill. All right, guys, so there you have it. Rose Island, southern Indiana, just north of Louisville. Go check it out. It's an awesome place. And like I said earlier, this is my first time trying out this video stuff. So if you like this video, please like below. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. If there's anything I can do moving forward, let me know that too. And I'm looking forward to showing you guys my next adventure here soon.